Thursday evening this week. It's a different week for me. I am not able to come live tomorrow, which is it's actually Friday my time at 9 a.m. So I'm actually starting this broadcast on my Friday morning, which is your Thursday evening. So for those of you who are out there, I hope that you are tuning in on this Thursday evening and that you are now watching this live. So welcome. I just wanted to share with you a little bit around major gift work and the annual campaign. And it's a topic that, I grew up in the YMCA world, and in the YMCA world, we had broken up folks into divisions for their annual fund. And what do I mean by that is that um, we had a major gifts division, we had a special event division, we had a mid-level donor division. So if you ever can Google the YMCA Red Book, years ago, the YMCA actually had put together a red book on how to do campaign fundraising, which was modeled after what they do very, very successfully, and that's capital campaigns. And so I learned early on in my career that fundraising campaigns should be, in fact, multi-tiered, meaning that you have a structured component to your whatever fundraising campaign it is. So I'm probably one of the ones that really go back to old school techniques in the fact that I still believe in gift charts. I still believe in structured campaigns. So in fact, I do believe, and I recommend to all of my clients that they in fact consider having a major gifts component to your calendar year-end efforts. And people will look at me and they go, really? A major gifts component to your calendar year-end efforts? And I say, absolutely. So what does that mean? It means that you solicit your board of directors, hopefully, to start off your calendar year-end campaign, hopefully very soon, within the next month or even sooner than that, so that you work towards getting 100% giving. And then after there, what I recommend highly is that you segment out your major donors, right? So you determine what your major donor giving threshold is, and you segment them out. Now, in some cases, this may be the first time that you have actually ever segmented out major donors from your regular donor list. Because in fact, many of us don't have time or we don't have the capacity to be doing major gifts year round. However, calendar year end is a great time to begin doing major gift work. So you segment out your major gifts, whether that's, folks who are giving 500 and above or 1,000 and above, you segment them out. And then what I highly recommend is that if you haven't done any kind of rating or ranking of those donors, I recommend that you do some rating and ranking of them, meaning you sit down and you assess where they are in terms of their interest, their capacity, and their affinity to the cause. Now, for your calendar year-end efforts, I would just recommend that you keep this to a very limited number of folks that you may want to actually solicit in person. So let's say you pick out the top 10 of those who have been ranked the highest. Once you have your list, your top 10 list, what I highly recommend is that you engage some other folks who may have possible relationships with these donors, and hopefully you can recruit some board members to be a part of this effort. So once you've rated and ranked them, I highly recommend that that you engage your board members in this. Now, people will say to me, what about well screening? And I say, well, well screening is great, but it doesn't give you all of the picture in terms of the capacity. Well, it may give you some of the capacity of your donor, but it doesn't give you all of the information. It gives you what are known publicly held assets. And so after that, what I would highly recommend is that once you have your list of top 10 donors, that you strategize what the next steps are for each of those donors towards the calendar year-end effort. So you kind of have your tier 1 priority list. You've determined who the best solicitor is. You've determined what you're going to ask for, how much you're going to ask for, and when you're going to make the ask, and who is going to be involved. And then you basically, you don't want to send these folks a direct mail appeal letter, because perhaps what happens is that maybe they're going to get that direct mail appeal letter and send in a donation. And so the hesitancy, and I recommend this with everything, is that we start with this top-down, inside-out approach to every campaign that we do. So the hesitancy of sending out your calendar year-end effort to direct mail piece to everyone is the fact that some of these major donors may be on your solicitation list, and in fact, by sending them the letter, they may just send in their check, and wouldn't that be or their donation, wouldn't that be a bad thing if they did that before you actually even got to them? So we highly recommend that you hold off on sending out these appeal letters until solicitations can be made. Now, I highly recommend, for those of you who, maybe some of you have done some major gift work or have not done major gift work, but for me, what I call a pre-call letter has always worked very well. So by sending out a pre-call letter, what you're essentially doing is you're sending out a letter in advance to these folks to say, I am going to be giving you a call. So they know, some folks I've actually had say, I have the letter, I've held on to it. They're expecting that call from you. So you've kind of like, primed the call, so to speak. You're not calling out of the blue. Now, I highly recommend that as the development officer who's probably going to be overseeing this process, that you have some type of solicitation management system in place to be able to capture the information and keep track of the overall process. Once you have all of this in place and you're going, you also need to have a follow-up plan. What happens to those major donors who we just could not get to and solicit personally? So consider perhaps maybe making a telephone call as a second objective, or if you're not able to do that, then perhaps sending out the appeal letter after attempts have been made for solicitations. So there you have some really simple steps around how you can incorporate major gifts into your, not just how, I highly recommend that you do incorporate major gifts into your overall work, and then you make it a critical part of your calendar year-end efforts. Calendar year-end efforts really need to be strategized. You really need to have a plan for each of your donor segment audiences. And very rarely do I say leave, a letter, a broad swath blanket letter should go out to everyone. So if you haven't started major gifts, or if you've intended to but just have never gotten there, then this is a great way of getting started using your calendar year-end efforts. So that's a little bit on how you can incorporate major gifts into your calendar year-end efforts. I want to share with you a free webinar that I'm doing on the 24th of this month in conjunction with Neon CRM and the folks over there. And I'm so happy to be able to do this webinar. It's called Garbage In is Garbage Out, and I would see it now before it becomes a priced webinar. So if you are looking for more information on how to get your constituent management software, your donor management system in order, and keep it in order through its cleanliness, then I would highly recommend that you check out this free webinar that is being held in conjunction with Neon CRM. And then on the 26th, we have my webinar, which is for all of you who are taking the Assess for Success Challenge next week. I hope that you will consider being a part of that webinar, but basically it is jumpstarting your calendar year-end efforts so that you have a successful giving season. And that webinar comes with one-on-one coaching session with myself to review your calendar year-end plan, as well as a group coaching session to be held in November to look at how your calendar year-end efforts are trending and to develop a follow-up plan. And then for those of you who are interested, we have the board mastermind group, which starts October 1 and is a 3-month has 3 months worth of master classes available, plus group coaching, plus individual coaching, plus templates and all of those great things. And each of these webinars, except for the Neon CRM right now, has CFRE certification points. So the board mastermind group is 3 CFRE points, and the webinar on the 26th of this month will allow you to get 1, because it's an hour's worth of training. So I have enjoyed coming to you live on Thursday evening. I'm sure you are all enjoying these last days of what is summer, and I'm enjoying what are going to be the first days of spring here. We're headed into summer down in the Southern Hemisphere. So I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Happy Friday, everyone. And I look forward to seeing you in the Facebook group later on this week. So have a wonderful rest of your night.